This is a shit movie.
The quick fix, though, to this whole problem is you
To not make the movie?
Next time I'm picking. Hey everyone, welcome to Straight Jacket Talk, where it's Kevin and Nathan tonight doing a review on the Bunnyman Massacre from 2014, aka Bunnyman 2.
Didn't know that when we decided to pick this thing.
Yeah.
I was just like, Bunnyman Massacre, look at this. look at this thumbnail with a bunny with a chainsaw. We should do this while Jill's gone.
Yeah. Apparently, this is the sequel to 2011's Bunnyman. We missed that one, but I don't think we need it for this.
No.
The Bunnyman Massacre was written and directed by Carl Lindbergh. Currently, it has no Rotten Tomatoes score, but on IMDb, it has a 3.9 out of 10 rating. Does that seem pretty, where it should be?
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It might be a little high.
Well, before we tell you about what we think about this movie, if you could please hit the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notification bell, because when we have another video, you'll be the first to know. Isn't that right, Nathan?
Yes, it's a privilege.
So Nathan and me were talking and we were like, you know what? We don't have enough like trashy, bad horror movies we review on our channel. So we were like, what can we get into? And I got to ask you right off the bat, where did you hear about the Bunnyman Massacre movie?
I just know that Tubi has a reputation for having really bad trash horror movies. So I started browsing their horror section. And then I was like, the Bunnyman Massacre, and it's a dude in like a really cheap, bad Easter Bunny costume. This seems perfect. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, oh, this might be exactly what we're looking for.
It's funny because when you showed me it and I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm sold. This seems like a movie when we were in high school I would have picked off the shelves in Blockbuster and forced you to see, you know?
Yeah. And then I would have made fun of you for like half a year for having chosen it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But here we are. Turnaround is fair play here.
I know. I brought this on myself.
Dang. Well, let's get into it. What's your overall thoughts on the Bunnyman Massacre?
This movie, it has moments where it is exactly what I kind of wanted it to be, but all of those moments are in the trailer and everything else is just mostly boring or frustrating. I was hoping for like fun bad, but this movie drags a lot. And when something drags and it's also bad, I become a lot less forgiving. I'm laughing at it less and groaning more. This is a shit movie.
Yeah, I think to your points, I was hoping for something fun. Like, right, we know what type of movie this is. This is not going to be in the upper echelon of, horror movies or movies in general. It's a man
with an Easter bunny costume. It can't be.
No.
Good, but that's not what I was looking for. So
I think, you want something fun. You want something entertaining, right? You want something memorable too, because part of the reason why you chose this was the poster of the Bunny Man costume in a chainsaw. Like, how could this not be a blast?
Exactly.
But unfortunately, I kind of feel the same way you do. I think this movie dragged on for a long time in parts. It's a long movie. I think it's like it's over an hour and 40 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, it's an hour 40 minutes.
And that is not a good recipe.
Yeah. Hour 20 at most.
Yeah, I think
we spent a lot of time with our killer, who is mostly not the Bunny Man, yapping at us the entire fucking time.
Look at the show I put on for you. You got a front row seat. But I do have to admit, there is one bit of good news.
What?
You only died once. I'll tell you what, it ain't gonna happen anytime soon.
Talk, 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 talk.
Yeah, I think sometimes these low budget indie horror movies try to be a little bit more than they should be, and this is a perfect example of that. Please just stick to like a simple story and doing things, you know, in a quick manner, because like you want to have fun, you want to get your audience hooked in. I want to start right away because I think what this movie does a great job of is hooking you in right away with the opening scenes.
Oh yeah, for the first 5-10 minutes, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Bad. Yep. That's what I'm looking for, but great.
100%. We get a school bus full of kids.
Mm-hmm.
We get a bunny man costume.
Yep.
He has a gun and he kills the bus driver, which was frightening right away. You're like, holy shit. Like, we're in this.
Yeah. After that kid stands up and goes, Bunny!
Bunny! Sit down.
And the bus driver, sit down and shut up. It's like, I'm cracking up already.
Man, and then of course you get the great shot of, you know, the rabbit coming through into the bus with the chainsaw ready to go, and just
at the
tons of kids.
Yeah, he's just pushing the chainsaw at the camera the entire time, murdering children, like a lot of children on a school bus.
I must go punch that baby.
You know,
this is the ultimate fuck them kids.
Oh yeah.
What I love about this too is it is kind of like shot humorously because, like you said, he's got the chainsaw at the camera. And all the kids are kind of running and they're trying to get through the back window of the bus. And it kind of cuts between him with the chainsaw and kids falling out of the bus, but he's nowhere near them. And there's like blood
bleeding
flying
for some reason.
Yeah, right. Like, how did he get all the way through?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this was the perfect way to get us engaged. And you have that kind of, what I love, that blood splatter on the sign right away. Where's the blood coming from?
He exits the shot to the right, and then the blood sprays in from the left, and it's like, all right, you know, I'll go with it.
Right, fuck it, this is fun, you know.
Yeah,
and then a great second shot here because we have some random campers having sex, right?
Yeah.
And then you get the bunny man coming in just out of the blue.
I got a problem with this.
Oh, you don't like this?
The scene is fine. Well, it's actually completely ripped off from another movie, a movie I have not seen, but I understand that it is just a scene from Jason X, done with the bunny man. And I'm not too fond of that. But the other problem I have with this is, why do we have two opening sequences? Does that make any sense? Like, you get your opening sequence and then you're supposed to launch into the plot at that point.
Right.
But this is like two opening sequences in a row, and it just felt awkward to me. Made me feel like, oh, they've got this idea for this bus scene and all these children, but then they've also paid this chick to take her top off. And they're like, well, we can't combine those two things. So I guess we better have two opening scenes. You know, but, you know, at this point I was still willing to go with it, but it's sort of more like in retrospect, after I was done watching the movie, I was like, now I'm not, now I'm going to be less forgiving of something like that because I didn't end up liking the movie.
Yeah. I think it was, you know, it was done to really, I think, hook in the audience right away and create like these kind of fun and nostalgic scenes. Like you pointed out, there's a Jason homage kill right away, like where he takes the girl in the sleeping bag, takes her over her shoulder, and boom, right against a rock this time versus a tree.
Right.
And then you get the gratuitous nudity. So it's like trying to tell you like, this is a fun type of slasher. But here's the problem I have.
It's the only nudity in the movie.
It's the only nudity in the movie, and it gives you all the slasher tropes right away. But then it changes direction.
Yeah, then it's not a slasher anymore. It's more of a torture porny movie at the end of it all. There's like a lot of space in between where it's just nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. It changes dynamic. And then of course, like with that though comes a very slow pace. So it goes from a very fast pace, like fun slasher down to this slow methodical. And there's nothing wrong with being slow and methodical, but there's no tension with any of it because we're slow in these scenes with the killer characters. So there's the man in the Bunnyman suit, and there's the hit guy who's Joe, I believe is his name.
I didn't bother learning anyone's name. Sarah's name is repeated over and over again, so I know her name, and that's about it. So
yeah, it seems like they wanted to work with the dynamics of kind of like a Texas Chainsaw type of idea.
They steal a sound effect from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. Not a sound effect. I shouldn't say that. The sound effect.
It's funny because the Bunnyman character has the same reaction to the sound effect that I do too, where I'm like,
Can we talk about time-lapse photography for a second here?
You're talking about the moon shots and stuff.
What percentage of this movie do you think is just watching time lapses of the moon and the sun going across the sky?
Yeah.
Is it like a good 10% is just time-lapse photography?
It's a lot. It's like they use the dissolves too, like into other shots and like to your point, to time's passing.
But does the movie take place over the course of a year and a half? Because that's what it feels like from all the time lapses we're dealing with here.
Dude, it does. It does for sure. In theory, you could have had this all take place in like 1 or 2 days, which is what it should have taken place. But
100%.
Who knows? To your point, because like deputies have gone missing. Like they haven't even reported like the girls missing. I mean, it's
they're just throwing shit at the wall and none of it's sticking.
Which again, okay, like this is supposed to be a quote unquote bad horror movie for sure.
Oh yeah.
But
it's a B movie. It's not trying to be a masterpiece.
But you're doing this at a disservice to the audience, like, because we're in for fun and we're in for crazy kills and what are we going to get here? And it's like too much of this movie is the time-lapse stuff. You're like,
time-lapse stuff, establishing shots, conversations that would like do not matter at all.
Yeah.
Really, the hillbilly guy is actually the killer in this movie. Like the bunny is like his sidekick. It should have been called Hillbilly Man Massacre, and then he's just got a sidekick who's wearing a bunny suit.
Right.
And he's just talking constantly, just spouting like nasty misogynistic stuff a lot of the time, which it's fine. Like you're allowed to make your bad guy a misogynist, but it's not even like interesting or funny or in any way. It's just talking, just yap and filling time.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. And I thought a lot of it was the same stuff over and over again, like talking about like, how he likes to catch his prey. And a lot of it's like a build up to like sexual assault of some kind, right? And it's trying to have that tension of it, but it's like the same scenes over and over again. Like, how am I gonna do this to you? Like,
why are you doing this?
Oh, you can't understand just because I can. Because I enjoy other people's suffering.
Right.
And it's like, oh my God, like it's almost like just stop talking. Like we're getting the same stuff over and over again. And I mean, nothing is happening really.
Right. And he's making these sexist quips that are like, I heard these jokes, on the playground in elementary school, and I didn't understand what they meant. He does the how can you trust someone who can bleed for 7 days and not die?
Can't trust you bitches bleeding out every month for days on end.
without dying?
Again, you can make your bad guy a misogynist, but can you not put in those lines that make me want to bang my head against the wall? Because I've already heard them a million times from assholes in real life. The kitchen, he's like, oh, women belong in the kitchen.
Yeah, they belong in the kitchen.
Okay, man.
I think the dialogue is not good. It's not written good. I will say, though, I think the reason why they have this character speaking so much is because he is the best actor in this movie. So
yeah, for sure.
They were like, you have to talk all the time because we can't trust anybody else to have any dialogue in this movie.
Yeah, I would say he was the only one who was even an actor at all.
Yeah, you may be right. Yeah.
Like everybody else might have been just somebody they found on the streets or something, you know.
Well, a large portion of this movie is them abducting women from the woods. And holy shit, man, these woods have like the most beautiful women ever hiking in them. No,
where are these woods? Why are these woods so full of hot chicks?
No dudes.
There's no dudes anywhere.
All women.
Yeah, and they're all stupid. So
all stupid. Yeah,
all really stupid.
And none of them were really meant to have a connection with. I think at one point they try to have us have a connection with the girl in the short blonde hair. Is that Sarah?
Yeah,
or no?
That's Sarah. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm just gonna catch my breath for a minute. Again? Really?
No, but losing your family doesn't give you the right to be an asshole to everyone.
There's a lot of cannon fodder, which is okay. Like, but we have
your final girl is cannon fodder, though.
We have no characters to root for. None at all.
We're not even introduced to any of these characters until 25 minutes into the movie. You know, before that, it's your opening scenes and then boring discussions between the hillbilly man and the bunny man. But the bunny man doesn't talk, so it's actually just one-sided discussions. The bunny man throws a hissy fit at one point and starts knocking shit over, and it's like just exactly like that scene from The Room. The Room might have even been a better made scene, to be honest with you.
I gotta say, I didn't hate everything about this movie, and like the bunny man costume is kind of like silly in a way, but it's kind of creepy in a way too.
There was a scariness to it that I kind of wasn't expecting. I thought it was just going to be completely silly. I can agree with you on that one.
That made me realize, like, I want to see this costume in a different type of movie. Yeah. Because the character doesn't talk at all, like you were saying, but a lot of what he can do with this kind of silly rabbit.
Silly rabbit tricks are for kids.
Like sometimes is kind of creepy, you know, like he can make them kind of laugh and he can make them stare and do things like that. And especially when he gets more blood on the costume, it's a creepy kind of thing. Can you imagine seeing him in the woods?
I would not be happy to see him in the woods. I almost wonder if the actor who's playing the bunny actually did some time like as a mascot, an actual sports mascot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like a Disney World actor or something. Because he can make this completely emotionless face sort of emote with his body. He did a decent job. You know, that you can't discount how difficult that is to do.
Yeah, no, I like a lot about that character. I like when he's like going crazy and stuff like that, because you know he's a wild card. The thing I don't like is when he takes the mask off.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like when he takes the mask off either. It just takes away all mystery to it. For a lot of the movie, I didn't know if this character was supposed to actually just be a bunny man rather than a man in a, like, obviously it's a man in a costume, but I didn't know if the movie knew that it was a man in the costume.
I gotcha. Yep.
You know, and I kind of wanted him to not be a man in a costume,
me
just
too.
because that would be really silly.
Dude,
but
no.
Takes the mask off. Like,
I thought this exact thing too because of the scene where it's him and Joe at their like dinner table, and there's different sorts of rabbits at the table.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what really put it in my head that like, wait a minute, maybe this is supposed to be like a bunny man
rabbit hybrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the hillbilly man takes the rabbit and just throws him against the wall.
This is not a PETA-friendly movie.
No. I mean, I'm sure he actually threw an empty cage after.
Yeah.
There was a very clear camera cut there, but
Yeah.
where they
for
could
sure.
replace it with an empty cage.
I think this movie does a disservice to itself too, because it's too much of like the torture porn stuff of like the girls hanging and like nothing happening, right? And then
Nothing happening.
if
yeah.
he releases one of them, they get away for like a second, but it's not even like they're leaving this
Hold on.
redneck compound.
You're not giving this justice how stupid this is. He didn't just release one. He gave one of them a gun and
Yeah.
released her.
Throw the gun. Jesus Christ. You're gonna need that.
And it's like, what? He's gonna hurt the blonde chick's friend, Sarah's friend, and she's like, I can get you more women if you just let us go.
Please, there were 4 girls. It was 4 girls.
Oh, you're holding out on me, bitch, huh? You didn't tell me they were girls.
No dudes.
And so he goes, okay, go get the more women, and we'll do a trade. Your friend
Yeah.
and you for more women. And then he gives her a gun and sends her on her merry way
Yeah.
to go get the more women. And it's like, you have a gun, bitch. You have a gun.
him.
Shoot him.
I know. I thought the same thing.
Shoot him and get out of there. Don't be going to get other chicks and just shoot him.
This whole,
And then
this whole,
he does release them, but they fucking like they dilly dally and shit. And one girl's like, "Oh, we got to help the women that you just get." And it's like the best way to help them is to go to the police. But you're just standing there, and then the bunny shows up in a Toyota. Tacoma. It's a Toyota Tacoma. And just bops him on the head and brings him back. Because they just stand there looking at this Toyota Tacoma with a bunny man in it.
Oh my God. Yeah. I thought this whole scene was just so bad because
Can't.
there's no common sense here. And like you said too, it's a scene where like they had tried to almost set up again the audience liking Sarah. But then you can't like her because she kidnaps other women to bring to these guys.
What are you talking about? I said I need you to fucking come with me.
And then she just accepts that they're going to let her go. Like, these are bad guys.
None of it makes any damn sense. You know, it's a fuck you got mine moment for her too, which means that you simply cannot like her because she's willing to hurt other people in that way.
You can't root for her.
No, you can't root for her at all. No,
You're almost happy when the bunny man comes in the Toyota Tacoma because you're like, she kind of gets what she deserves here.
does the other chick get what she deserves though? I don't know. It was just
No, not
the
at
thing
all.
is she's the only one who is a character other than Joe and the bunny man.
Yeah.
She's the only. Everybody else isn't a character at all, and her character sucks. So
I was thinking about this scene because they have the 3 random women camping in the woods, right? That Sarah just knows that are there. Like we have no foreshadowing.
there's no
that-
setup for that. Yeah, it's just sort of. I saw them earlier. Somehow Sarah knows exactly where they hiked to. I don't know. That's a nitpick, but you know.
No, yeah, I hear you. I think the quick fix though to this whole problem is you
To not
have
make the movie.
Well, they could have made it. They could have just reverted back to kind of what they were doing at the beginning, and
Yeah.
had like Sarah and her friend there escape, find the other girls that are camping and say like, hey, there's these guys chasing us. And you could do so much then. You're out in the open, whatever you want to do from there. And it would have been more exciting instead of in the one location, just watching these girls tied up the whole time. Like, this is boring.
Yes. Yeah, it was extremely boring. Yeah. Especially, they have all at their disposal, plenty of locations. You know, you see plenty of locations.
Yeah.
It's just that you spend, you know, an hour and 20 minutes out of your hour and 40-minute runtime in this barn. And they keep showing the outside of the barn as like an establishing shot. And then they go to their fucking time-lapse photography shots. Who knows if they actually even did those time-lapse photography shots or if they just bought them from somewhere.
That's what I was going to say too. Yeah.
You know, like, did they really put a camera out there for 12 hours to get shots for this movie? I don't know.
No way. Even just having the whole thing in the woods, for God's sakes, like that would have been more exciting to me than this, because it's at this point, it felt like you're doing your homages to Texas Chainsaw because you have the quote unquote gas station or convenience store, right?
Yeah.
Then you have your homage to Rob Zombie, what he did with, you know, like the hillbilly setups and being tied up. And then you have your homages to like The Hills Have Eyes, and you have, you know, the RVs and stuff they were going through and on top of. And so it's like you're
climbing on top of that thing. Go on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But this is what I'm saying. Like they don't escape this whole thing. They just stay in this. So it's like we have girls that are caught, released, and they don't go anywhere. And it's not because they're trapped, it's because they're stupid.
Exactly. I mean, here's the thing about the world. It's in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
And you can run any direction you want.
Yeah.
And they keep running at the bunny.
They find the bunny every time.
They just keep running through this man's compound.
Don't run that way.
Run into the woods. Get off the roads. Like, do something.
I don't know. It's mind-boggling at times. I think, you know, I know we've talked a lot of bad about this, but I will say I believe that some of the kills are actually not bad in this for a low-budget horror movie. Like, I don't think some of the CGI is great, granted, and I think like the practical effects are very limited money-wise, but like they do a couple cool things to kind of, you know, the way they shoot things to kind of get away from, you know.
The barrel with the nails is scary conceptually, and I thought that was pretty good. Anytime he was using the chainsaw, though, I was distracted by how bad it looked, because it was very obvious that they were setting up the camera and then putting the chainsaw behind their head and then CGI blood to make it look like it was put through the head or whatever body
right
or whatever.
I don't think they have the effects of like the effects guy of like Terrifier, and they don't have money, so they have to show it the way they can show it. I was actually impressed that they tried to show it on screen as much as possible, because usually in these lower budget ones, when they have a chainsaw, they just kind of go at the camera, show blood effects, and then like a dead body after.
And the drill press scene to the eye actually didn't look bad. That was like an actual practical effect there.
Yeah.
Where her eye spiraled out of her head or whatever. But
yeah, that was a cool
scene. Yeah.
I liked that.
Was it though? Why did the bunny take off his hat again? His face again?
Okay, so this scene...
He takes off... Hold on.
Yeah.
He takes off his face and then puts on a welding mask.
Yeah. It's
You don't need a welding mask to use a drill press. Just some safety goggles will work fine.
Here's my thing, though. This scene would have played out so much better if he hadn't taken off his mask earlier in the movie and we had seen his whole face. Because I think it would have been kind of stupid funny if he took off his bunny mask and put the welding mask on. Like you said, you don't need to do that. But like that would have played out and made it funny versus now we're pissed because he's taking the fucking mask off twice now. Like, stop taking the mask off, you know?
And then that other chick was just watching
Just
also.
watching
and
her
and
friend
like,
getting carved up.
either save her or leave. No,
And she does the worst thing. She doesn't save her, and she's like, ah!
yeah, she makes noise. All of a sudden he's after her because she's like, oh my gosh. It's like, why did you sit there and watch?
Ugh.
Like, either save her or run the fuck away, you moron.
What was your favorite kill? Was it the barrel with the screws through it?
No. My favorite kill is my favorite scene in the movie. The point in the movie where I thought it was going to be great. And that is the school bus full of children. I thought that was just hilarious. That is cinema right there. That is like, if you just said this is a short film and then that was it, and this is a 5-star classic. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie follows.
They blew their load too early in this movie. That's my biggest problem. You know, they gave us the best shots right in a row, and then boring.
The thing is the setup of this movie is boring. And I think there are people out there who like this kind of setup a lot better than I do. But I kind of wanted it to just actually be a slasher with the Bunnyman. Just cut out Joe or whatever his name is completely and just have it be classic. Make it a Jason ripoff with the Bunnyman.
Yeah.
Basically. Out in the woods, teenagers fucking and having fun and then dying.
Again, I felt like they were trying to be too smart with their movie. Like, you know, like we got to reinvent the wheel a little bit here, but you're not reinventing the wheel because you're just taking everything from other movies, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, to your point, there are people who do like some of like the torture stuff way more than you and me like. But for those people too, I think they'll be disappointed in this because there really is no payoff to any of the torture stuff. The torture stuff is not built right with proper tension. So when there is a payoff, you're like, oh.
None of it's really even shown on screen most of the time, too. I mean, the only scene that had proper tension building was the barrel scene that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Because they take their time, they put her in the barrel, they start drilling the screws into the barrel, and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? I mean, I wasn't, because at this point the movie had lost me, but in a better movie that it would have worked. It was a properly done scene.
Yes,
kill scene.
100%. I agree with you. And it was original. I've never seen that before. So
me neither,
I give them props for that. It's just, you have this one pretty good scene in a long range of horrible, boring stuff. So to get to that, it doesn't feel earned at all. You're just like you said, you're out at that point. You're just like, oh
yeah. Like I could imagine that scene in a different movie working, but nothing in this movie after the first two scenes works at all.
Yeah, you know? Agreed. We get to the end, which is really not an end. We have a sheriff character who we barely see in this movie, so we can't really root
introduction
for him.
To the sheriff is
You play piano?
You play the piano? What? I said, do you play the piano?
You play piano? He's just wandering around the store looking at shit and every now and then saying a few words, and like none of it's building to fucking anything. Like none of it makes you think that he's investigating. You're just like, oh, well, a couple of my deputies have been killed or have gone missing. Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that. All right, then. You play piano? Like it doesn't go anywhere.
No, it doesn't. And like, to me, if deputies are missing, this should be more of like an all hands on like police search.
Exactly.
You know, and I know a lower budget again.
Hound dogs and you know,
like you shouldn't have one random sheriff just pulling up to a deserted convenience store, and then he doesn't show up until, you know, an hour later in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. And then he does the dumbest shit imaginable.
He has a shootout with Joe, or not a shootout, a duel, right?
A duel.
What exactly you think you're gonna do?
I was thinking about shooting you.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm at a loss for words here. Like, you've got the gun trained at his head. You put it down, even though he also has a gun. Like, you have the drop on him. What do you?
Doesn't make sense. An even more frustrating part. So Sarah and her friend are in the sheriff's truck here, thinking everything's fine, and the bunny man just pulls the friend out of the passenger seat, right? Mm-hmm. Sarah has the gun, and she goes up to the bunny man's head. You don't have to do that. You can stand at a distance and shoot him.
You know, last I checked, one of the most advantageous things about the gun as a weapon is its range.
Right.
It has a long range. You should probably use that.
Bunny man just goes, boom.
All of a sudden. Right, also, why does the gun only have 2 bullets in it?
There's a handgun underneath the back seat. There's 2 rounds in it. If you're going to use it, I suggest you make them count.
Like, the sheriff is just like, it only has 2 bullets. You better make them count.
That's a
Why does it only have 2 bullets in it? Why did you do that?
I think that's a suicide gun.
Well,
which comes into play right after this, where, again, does nobody understand if you have a gun, you have the power to shoot these people?
Yeah, if you've got the gun, you're at the advantage.
But I guess the overwhelming bunny man power, she decides to take the gun and shoot herself.
Yep. I mean, this is the second time this chick has had a gun loaded, ready to go.
You're not wrong.
and not done the correct thing with the gun. I'm not saying, me in the same situation, it would be very traumatizing. I'd be very upset that I killed somebody, but I'm going to pull the trigger while pointing it at the person who's trying to kill me.
Right.
In that situation, It's
either me or you, and that.
And you seem like an asshole, so.
Right. You seem like a bad person. You've killed several people, so.
In front of me. Oh, yeah.
There was a couple of comical scenes like that where the bunny man hits the gun out of her hand. There was another scene earlier where this random girl has a big pipe and the bunny man just like knocks it out of her hand.
Yeah. Yeah. We
know.
haven't even gone over half of the dumb shit these chicks do. Every single one of them does something stupid that doesn't make sense. Like, stop getting on top of the roofs of things. You can't run if you're on the roof. At one point, the chick's on the top of an RV and the bunny man just pushes the RV and it shakes a little bit and she falls off.
Dude, there's so much in the middle here that, like, it's just insanity. Like, I don't know. None of it's good.
It's not just the middle either. It's the end too. Like there's the first 10 minutes or so of this movie is exactly what I wanted it to be. And then nothing else is. So
yeah. At the very end too, you have, again, bringing up the homage to Texas Chainsaw. The sun is rising and Bunny Man's walking down the road. I mean, if he took that chainsaw and started dancing with it, we would be like, holy shit. This is a ripoff.
Well, it's not trying to hide that it's ripping off the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. If you're trying to hide that you're ripping it off, you don't use the sound effect.
I think there's a way to do that better, though, or make it like comedy, or like even make it a comedic tone, or just something very nuanced. And this doesn't try to do any of that, and it falls flat for me. Like, I think it's okay. Like, slashers, part of what makes a good slasher is they do recycle a lot of the same, kill ideas, trope ideas,
tropes,
whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's okay. But to your point, if you're doing the same exact thing as other ones, but you're not doing it anywhere near their level of competency, it's not working.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was also a very low budget movie. And you're talking about Terrifier earlier with the special effects. And it's like, oh, they don't have the Terrifier guys. It's like the first Terrifier was done on an extremely low budget. Now, Terrifier isn't a movie I like very much, but, but it accomplishes what it was trying to do, and this doesn't. Terrifier actually has decent special effects on a tiny little budget. I'm not giving this one an excuse because of its budget for these effects being this poor.
See, I don't think the effects for me were like, they weren't the negative. It was all the bullshit in between.
Nah, the effects are like the cherry on top of the shit cake. Yeah. So, we didn't talk about them very much for a reason. The rest of the movie's even worse than they are, and they're not good. So
yeah, it's one of those things too. Like you said at the beginning, there's a lot you can overlook in a movie like this, but unfortunately, they do such I think a bad job at presenting a fun movie and something that you really will overlook a lot of the negative stuff on, because
right.
It's not fun and it drags and you're forced to really look at it the whole time and be in it. So
yeah. Well, I mean, if we weren't doing a show, we wouldn't be forced, because I would have turned it off after half an hour if we weren't doing this for the show. So
like I told you, I do want to see the other movies in this Bunnyman trilogy just to see how they compare and contrast to this. Like, is this the best of the three? I don't know. That's a scary thought.
I did see a video where somebody said that this was the best of the three.
I saw
they
that
also
too.
liked this movie, so I don't know.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
We never even talked about how they're trying to they're cooking these people into jerky.
Oh, what's a gold star mean?
I know. I forgot about
we
that.
We never even mentioned that. Because the connection's not made really well. But anyway, a guy goes into the convenience store and is like, how much is this jerky?
How much if I buy 2 bags?
Tell you what, you buy 2 bags, I'll give you 2 for free.
If you buy 2, I'll give you 2 for free. And I'm sitting there like, you never told him how much the jerky is. Like, that's not a good deal if the jerky is $30 a bag.
Right.
Anyway,
it's $30
later
a bag,
we find
but
out
you get 4.
Yeah. Later we find out that there's a sign on top of the jerky display. That guy didn't need to ask how much it was.
Oh, it's right there.
Just that's what really ruined this movie.
That was it.
No, I got nothing else to say.
No, it was a random scene too, because you have like this family and you're like, okay, like what are they going to do to the family? Like,
yeah, they're going to kill the family. They just got done killing a shit ton of kids in this movie. Like none of these people are safe.
Right.
And it turned out they were perfectly safe, actually. Nothing happens to them. It's just a useless scene.
They got rules, apparently.
Yeah.
You buy their jerky, they don't kill you.
Apparently, yeah, well, that makes sense, I guess. Although, didn't the sheriff buy some of the jerky?
I don't remember.
I think he did.
It would have been ironic, though. It should have happened that he bought the one with the star on it, because that was
because that's the deputies. Yeah, that's what the gold star means. Is that it's made out of a cop? I don't know.
We're gonna let you know what we've rated this movie. So on Letterboxd, I rated this movie 1 star. And I don't think it's like the worst movie I've ever seen, but it missed out a lot of things we've already talked about. Most of my 1 star is that beginning 10 minutes, because I think the beginning 10 minutes is like that. If that continued, this would have been a really good movie. I mean, it wouldn't have been
not good, but yeah.
It would have been one we could have talked about and had fun with, and really even recommended, because that gets me to my next point. Honoring one of my favorite podcasts. Is this so bad it's good, or is it so bad it's scary? Meaning it's not good and I don't recommend. I can't recommend this. It doesn't have many good qualities. I think even if you do like the torture stuff, I don't think that you're going to find this one good.
I agree. Yeah.
It doesn't hit on anything good. It's not fun, but I will say, watch that first 15 minutes. It's free on Tubi right now because that's really good stuff. And then turn it off.
Yeah. I'm also going to give this 1 star out of 5. Yeah. It's better than Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, I think. Ooh. But I'm with you. I would not recommend anybody. This is a waste of time. This movie is like, don't watch it. Like, watch the first 15 minutes. Yeah. Watch the school bus scene and the campground scene. If they had just kept doing scene after scene like that, no characters whatsoever.
Right.
That would have been like innovative and different, and it would have been cool. I was almost wondering if that's what we were getting. Instead, it was just 2 opening scenes to begin a shit movie. No, it's so bad. It's scary, I guess. I've never listened to that podcast, but I'll pay homage to them as well.
I agree. It's funny because like you and me are very opposite on Blood and Honey. Like I actually recommend Blood and Honey, and I think like Blood and Honey is a way more fun time than this movie. But it's cool that we're on the same page on this movie.
See, I thought Blood and Honey was just like this movie, except without the cool opening scene. That's how boring I found it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. See, I liked Blood and Honey because it was way more straight ahead type of slasher.
Yeah. I can't deny that, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, I think this was cool to talk about because it's fun to talk about bad movies sometimes and go through them and complain and we get spicy Nathan, which I love.
I suppose. How spicy did I get this episode? I don't know.
Not very. Not very. We'll have to do some more of these to really unearth the very spiciest of Nathan.
Can we get one that's not fucking useless? But no.
Next time I'm picking.
If you had picked, we would have ended up with Mousetrap, though. Don't
watch that one. It's worse than this one.
That's the impression I got. With this one, I think they actually had a competent cinematographer for the most part. Like, I understood why I was looking at everything I was looking at. When I watched the first 10 minutes of Mousetrap, I was like, why am I looking at this button? What is this? Why are you doing a close up of this wall? What's going on? What are you doing?
Maybe we should do that. No, I can't put myself through that.
No need.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, we'll be back soon with another episode. Maybe it will be a good movie or maybe it will be a bad movie. Who knows? But until then, back to the padded room with you. Funny, I was trying to think of like a quote from this movie and I was like, there's no quotes.